Hey guys, I am going to show you how to multiply whole numbers in this video, and I'm going to show you three different methods. The first method is the standard algorithm, the one that we use in math review. So you can see that I put the 2 in the tens place in red and the ones place, the 4 in green. And we're going to do that because I want you to keep the numbers separate. So in this case, I'm going to highlight my process. I'm going to multiply the 4 times the 6, and that's 24. So I put the 4, carry the 2. Now the 4 times the 5, that's 20, plus 2 is 22. So there's a 2 and carry the other 2. Now I'm going to put the 4 times the 9, and that gives me 36, plus a 2, it's 38. So now we put a placeholder down here because we're finished with the first number, the 4. So now we'll move on to the 2, the red one. So the 2 multiplied by the 6 now is going to give us 12. So there's a 2, carry the 1. So we have 2 times 1, and not 2 times 1. So we have 2 times 5. And 2 times 5 is 10, plus the 1 in the top gives us 11. So there's the 1 on the bottom and carry the 1 on the top. Now 2 times 9 is 18, plus 1 is 19. All we have to do now is add these digits, and we have 4, 4, 9, and 12, carry the 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. So my final answer is 22,944. This is the method that I prefer. I think is the quickest one, but some of you preferred different methods of multiplication. So right now, we're going to work out the same problem, but now we're going to use a method called the lattice method. I think just a few of you have used this in my classroom so far. So let's see how we set it up. First, we draw a box. In this case, I want to draw a long rectangle, not just a square box, because I see I have a 3-digit number multiplied by a 2-digit number. So here I go. So I'm going to have to do 3 digits along the top, which is 956. I'm going to put 1 digit for each box at the top, and then the other 2 numbers, the 24, I'm going to put them down the side like this. Now all I have to do is multiply 1 digit at a time. For example, 2 times 6 is 12. So I'm going to write the 12 like this, with the 1 on the top and the 2 on the bottom corner. I'll do the same thing for every box. Now 2 times 5 is 10. So I write the 1 and the 0 like this. And then 2 times 9 is 18, so 1 and 8. Now I go down to the 4. So 4 times 6, that's 24. And then 4 times 5 is 20. And 4 times 9 is 36. Now here's the tricky part. Some of us may get confused in this method if we don't know how to draw these next lines. So the first line that we draw is this one. You see how it sticks out of the box? That's what we need to do so we can organize our answer in just a few seconds. Then the next one goes like this. Then the next one goes like this. And the last one goes like this. And you can see how it makes kind of like 4 different rows or 5 different rows. And I'm going to highlight what I'm going to be adding together so you can come up with your final answer, the final product. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight this 4 because that's my first digit for my final answer. Then I'm going to add the 2, and the 0, and that gives me 4. So that's going to be my second digit in my product. Now I'm going to add the 1, the 0, the 2, and the 6, and that gives me 9. So I'll put the 9 there. And I'll add 1 plus 8, that's 9, plus 3 more is 12. So there's the 2, carry the 1. And if I add 1 plus 1, well, that gives me 2. So my final answer is 22,944. And if you remember, that's exactly the same answer that we got on this previous problem that looks like this when we used the standard algorithm. So that's why both methods work. Whichever one you feel most comfortable with, you can use for any problem that we do in class. Here's the next method. The next method that we're going to use, that I'm going to show you, is the one that a lot of you use in my classroom, which is the partial products method. I'm not sure if you knew that that's what it was called, but this is the one that you draw a box, kind of like the lattice method, but in this case you don't put 1 digit on top of each box. You put a place value. So in this case we're going to put 956 as 900 plus 50 plus 6. And now we're going to do the 24 the same way along the left side. So we're going to do 20 plus 4. That's 24. And when we multiply the place values, I'll multiply the 2 times the 9. That gives me 18. But you have a 0 for the 20 and 2 zeros for the 900. So that's a total of 3 zeros. I have to put those in my answer. So really 20 times 900 is 18,000. The next numbers I'll do the same process, so I'll do 20 times 50 by multiplying 2 times 5, and that's 10. Then I have a 0 from the 20 and a 0 from the 50. So I have to add those two zeros, and that gives me 1,000. Next, I multiply by the 6. So 6 times 2 is 12, and then I have a 0 on the 20, so it's just going to be 120. Same process for the bottom number, but now it's just a 4. So 9 times 4 is 36, and I have two zeros, so I have to put 3,600 now. And now I have 5 times 4, and that's 20, plus a 0 behind the 5, that's 200. And then 4 times 6 is going to give me 24. And what I have here now is partial products. These are my partial answers. So every one of these I'm going to have to add together. I'm going to line them up correctly in order so that I can make sure that I can get my answer correct. So now all I have to do is add correctly. The first column gives me just 4 because it's a bunch of zeros plus a 4. The next column we have a bunch of zeros plus 2 and 2. Well, that's easy, that's 4. And then we have 0, 6, 0, 2, 1. Well, that's 9. And then 8 plus 3 plus 1, that gives me 2. And then 1 plus 1 gives me another 2, because 8 plus 3 plus 1 gave me 12 really. So I have to carry the 1 on the top. And if you notice, this number should look familiar now. 22,944 is the same thing as we got on the other way with the lattice method and also with the regular standard algorithm. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fast forward here, and I'm going to let you try out these 3 problems on your paper. Now I want you to use standard method on this problem so you can practice it, the standard algorithm. On the second problem, I want you to try the lattice method. If you need to rewind this video and pause it and rewatch it a little bit, then do that. And then the last problem is going to be the partial products method. Okay, so go ahead and work them out and push pause on this video. When you're finished, push play on the video again to see if you got all the right answers. Don't cheat. Push pause right now. Okay, well, I hope you have paused it and now you are back with all your answers. I'm going to scroll really quickly through all of my answers so you can see if you can follow the same steps that I did. So here we go. The first thing is the standard algorithm. We set it up like this. See if you can follow my method. And by the way, if I'm going too fast, just push pause, write it down, check for your mistakes if there's any, or check for everything that's correct, and then go ahead and check it right or fix it. So I'm trying not to take too long on this video. So my first answer is 24,150. The next is the lattice method. So hopefully you set it up like this. 1, 2, 2 on the top and 2, 8 on the side. If you multiply correctly, oh, here's the catch on this one. I forgot to tell you that before. When you multiply a single digit by a single digit, like 2 times 2, and you get the answer, and the answer is a single digit like 4, you have to put a 0, 4 in the box for the lattice method to work. So the same thing goes for this one and this next one. Then 2 times 8 is 16, 2 times 8 is 16, and 8 times 1 is 8. So we write it as 0, 8. Then we're going to put the little lines like I showed you before, and then we add the little diagonal lines. So that's just the 6 by itself. 4, 1, and 6 gives me 11. I'm going to carry the 1 to the other column. So 1 plus 0 is 1, plus 4 is 5, plus 1 is 6, plus 8 is 14. So there's the 4, carry the 1. 1 plus 0 is 1, plus 2 is 3, plus 0 is still 3. And then 0 plus nothing is just 0. So my answer is going to be these numbers right here that I just highlighted in blue. And I am going to write them down as my final answer with the comma so that I can read it correctly. 3,416. And the last method, hopefully you will set it up correctly with the place values. So 121 becomes 100, 20, and 1. And 15 becomes 10 and 5. If you multiply correctly, the first box you'll get 1,000. The second box to the right, you get 200. And then you get 10 on the last box. On the bottom box, you get 500, followed by 100, and finally 5. And these partial products, we have to add them up correctly so that we can get our correct answer. So a bunch of zeros plus 5 is just 5. A bunch of zeros plus 1 is just 1. And then we have 0 plus 5 is 5, plus 2 is 7, plus 1 is 8. And then we just have the 1. So my final answer is 1,815. Okay, and then the last two problems on your page are these two. What I want you to do here is I want you to go ahead and, let's see, I want you to work them out with the standard algorithm. Okay, this one and the other one. Go ahead and push pause, practice the standard algorithm for these two problems, and then come back and check it. Okay, hopefully you have pushed pause and now you came back to check your work. Here's the answers for this problem. So hopefully you have realized that 8 times 9 is 72, carry the 7. I'm not going to talk to the whole thing, but I'm showing you each and every step. So you can see it, you can check your work, each digit, see if you added correctly, carry the numbers correctly, regrouping, and then your final answer should be 34,512. The second one is set up the same way, and here's the numbers that you should get. And this one should be pretty easy because we had a 0 to multiply by. And then the final answer is 10,680. The final two problems are going to be your choice. Whatever you choose, the best method is for you. Okay, so here is your message for you. You choose the best method for you, work these two problems, then come back to check your answers. So now you have freedom to choose any of the three methods that I went over in this problem to work out these two problems. Choose the best one that you like, or the one that's fastest for you, or the one that you understand the most. Because you don't have to work them out all three ways. You just have to choose the one that works for you and stick to that one, okay? Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and show you the right answers. And I'm going to show you the way that I chose. You don't have to have the same way, it's the same way, but you should have the same answer. So here we go. I chose lattice way on the first one. Here's my lattice box and my lines. When I add up all my columns, my diagonals, I end up with this answer, which when I write it correctly, I end up with, 7,000. I gave you all the answers. I end up with 77,697. And then the second problem, as you probably already saw, is I'm doing partial products on this one, just to show you the different types, different styles. So if you set it up correctly and you follow the steps correctly, then these are the boxes that you should have gotten with the numbers inside those boxes. If you add up all those partial products, then you should be able to get the correct answer, which should be 2,108. I hope this video helped you, and if anytime you need any help in multiplication, please come back and visit this video again and pause it, rewind it, watch it as many times as you need to so that you can get better at multiplication. Okay?